So I don't know what you think about the Valley Gate, but that is what I think of when I think of the Valley Gate. Remember, we found 129 verses in the New King James Bible that had the word valley in it. Only one of them was in the New Testament. The rest of them were all Old Testament. Now we're going on to the rest of that same verse that we were just at, which was around verse 13, okay? Laughing, okay, because Hanun and the inhabitants of Zanoah, remember we're in Nehemiah 3:13, Hanun and the inhabitants of Zanoah repaired the valley gate. They built it, hung its doors with its bolts and bars, and repaired 1,000 cubits of the wall as far as the refuse gate. So we get into this measurement, a cubit. Okay, now a cubit was about 18 inches. Okay, I believe a cubit, and now cubit, some people say it's 20 inches, some people says it's a little bit more than 20. It's easy math in our system to do 18 inches, a foot and a half. But it was supposed to be the measurement from your elbow to the tip of your middle finger. Okay, a cubits. So Goliath's cubit was a little bit bigger than David's cubit. Okay, we know who won the battle. Anyway, no big deal. So let's say 1,000 cubits. What is 1,000 cubits? Okay, 1,000 cubits, if they're 18 inches, is 500 yards. Okay, I think my math is right. They built it, hung its doors with its bolts and bars, and repaired 1,000 cubits of the wall. You say, okay, 500 yards. Okay, now to a golfer, we kind of know what 500 yards is a par 5. Not everybody's a golfer. Of 5 football fields is 500 yards. Okay, just to give you an idea of how long. That's a lot of wall, brother. That's a lot of wall, and I don't know how destroyed the wall was, if they, had some of the wall that they were building on top of, but just 500 yards, brother. If you go out and you take a long step, it's supposed to be about a yard. Okay, go take 500 of those and see where that leads you. Okay, might lead you to the neighbor's house or the next door neighbor's house over past him. 500 anyway. Just to give you an idea, they built it, they hung its doors with its bolts and bars, so they repaired the valley gate, and then they repaired 1,000 cubits of the wall as far as the refuse gate. Now, sometimes you can go to other translations, like we did, that we talked about the old gate, and they'll give you their conversion of what it could be. And in the New Living Translation, they repaired 1,500 feet of the wall. Okay? So that's the same as 500 yards, 1,500 feet. Okay? Now, if you want to be like Kevin, and Kevin goes out over there and does it by steps, he puts 1 foot right next up to the other. Do that 1,500 times, and that's about what we're talking about. Of course, Kevin's size, what do you got? Size 14? 12 and a half is bigger than my 10, and so his cubit might be a little bit different, or his foot might be a little bit different. Anyway, they repair 1,000 cubits of the wall as far as the refuse gate. We're back in the New King James. Verse 14, Malchijah, the son of Rechab, the leader of the district of Beth Hasserim, repaired the refuse gate. He built it, hung its doors with its bolts and bars. Now, look at this refuse gate, okay? First thing I go to is Webster's, and I said, what is refuse? I think people know what refuse is, but I'm going to get down to Webster. And in my software, which is the eSword download. They have Webster's 1828 dictionary, which I just love. Okay? Love. I said refuse. Okay? Let's see. Oh, that's refuse. Sorry. That's not exactly what I was looking for. Okay? That which is refused or rejected as useless, waste matter. So the refuse gate is where they took the trash out. Okay, now, here's another opportunity that we have. Let's look at some other translations and see what they say. Contemporary English version, going to call it the garbage gate. All right, refuse gate, garbage gate. English Standard Version is calling it the dung gate. Okay? What is dung? Well, you better look it up in your own dictionary. Okay? Okay, I'll give you the sanitized version, even though you can't sanitize dung very much, but the excrement of animals. Manure. Okay? Dung. We've seen it called the dung gate. We've seen it called the garbage gate. We've seen it called the refuse gate. Let me go through a few other translations over here. ISV has dung gate. King James has the dung gate. Okay, another one for dung gate. There's the refuse gate. Another one. So a lot of people are looking at it as the dung gate. Okay, refuse. What was the other word we used besides refuse?
I don't remember.
Garbage. Okay, garbage. You gotta have a place in your life. You were talking about your spiritual life, okay? We're talking about a wall, building a wall and repairing the gates. Tell you what, and we'll get into this more tomorrow. You gotta have a place to where things can come maybe into your life. Is it possible that sometimes person can say, maybe when we start talking, because if you look up the word dung, you're not going to find it, or garbage, you're not going to find it very much in the New Testament, maybe not even in the Old Testament too much when it pertains to how we're going to find out what the dung gate is. But here's my start, and I'm just going to start this off, and then we'll continue here tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to put a bookmark on this 14th verse, because that's where we're going to talk about the dung gate. Is it possible, and I'll just throw this out here, is it possible that you need to have a place to where you can kind of let things that come in that maybe shouldn't come in, there's a gate for them to leave, you know? You eat the meat, you know, we used to talk about this years ago, come down to spiritual things. Well, I don't know if I liked what that guy said. I wasn't sure, you know, what did you think? Well, here's what they used to tell us. You eat the meat and you spit out the bones. Okay? We're going to talk a little bit tomorrow about the garbage gate, the dung gate, the refuse gate, and see what is there some possibilities that there might be a New Testament understanding, or I'll give you my New Testament understanding, what I think my dung gate is all about. And we'll continue our study mañana, and we'll upload it to